Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh are moving on up to a deluxe fantasy tower in the sky. Instant karma is delivered in this episode of Sword Art Online Alicization, as Kirito does battle with Volo Levantine, as well as his current swordmaster Liana, and they both manage to make fools of this character, who initially seemed like he was going to be one of the first major antagonists of the series, a guy with a major chip on his shoulder. But even after he loses to Liana, look at him! He still has a smug smile on his face. This episode right here, if you were hoping to see a little more action, you're gonna like it, because we got to see a pretty slick battle between Volo and Kirito, and of course Liana, who actually I thought her battle was a lot more fun to watch, if only for the fact that it was a little more fast-paced, but the fact that they were basically fighting each other with wiffle ball bats, that does kind of deflate some of the tension. However, it was really satisfying to get to see both Kirito and Liana knock this guy down a peg or two. What I do think is actually kind of funny, however, is that one of the biggest plot points of this episode doesn't even really involve either of these battles. It's actually a giant metaphor for the fact that Kirito has been separated from his friends and his family for a long period of time, and yet he's still stuck in this world without any way of getting out of it, and he still has to constantly remind himself of that. He's a foreigner in a very strange land. He's reminded of this because two of Volo's friends, these two rejects who are like even lamer versions of Jesse and James from Team Rocket, decide to basically destroy all of Kirito's flowers, which are these rare flowers which don't grow in this land, and he was intending on giving these as a gift to Liana when she eventually does graduate and kick Volo's ass. But they end up just sort of destroying anything. Now, that could be the end of the scene right there, but things get all weirdly magical when a weird voice starts speaking to him and tells him that he can actually utilize the life force of the other plants and put it into the others. Things get really E.T. the extraterrestrial for a second, and boom, the flowers are actually back. He was able to do this as a catalyst by taking this magic and putting it over here. Now, that's all well and good, but basically this entire scene is just a giant metaphor for the fact that Kirito is lost in this world, and in order for him to actually blossom in it, he's going to have to continue to move forward and stop looking back. Basically, it's a constant reminder that he's here, he's stuck, and there's still nothing that he can do about it. And at its very core, it's basically just saying that he is a foreigner from another place who's developing somewhere where oddly something should not be able to develop. Yet he continues to impress everyone with his amazing sword skills. And after Liana ends up taking down Volo, she ends up becoming the best student of the entire academy. She gets a big ol' raise, as do Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh. They become elite swordsman disciples, which basically means they get a swankier place to live, and they even get their very own harem of girls. This is Sword Art Online after all, and that's pretty much how it's always worked. Kirito arrives in a fantasy world, and the ladies cling to him like frickin' static laundry. So what's the rundown on this episode of Sword Art Online Alicization? It was okay, in my opinion. I think the strongest elements of the entire episode was probably the scene with the mysterious voice and the flower bed, as cheesy and heavy-handed as it actually was. But the scenes that actually bookended the entire episode with these battles against Volo Levantine were actually kind of exciting, if a little disappointing in the sense that I thought this was going to be a way more epic confrontation. Kirito and Volo basically just swinging their swords into one another, but for Kirito to be able to like cut this dude's sword in half was awesome, and even as the battle was getting ready to finish, it immediately got interrupted, so we never really got to see the true end of where this battle could have gone, but still, I just expected maybe a little more from that. At least Liana's battle was really awesome and proved yet again that her unique sword style is very important. They actually do a pretty great job of actually building up her character and showing how her intense rivalry with Volo actually works, for the fact that he's using a distinctive sword style that she no longer has access to, and she has to use her weird, unorthodox style to bring him down, and she does so in a crowd of people, and it's pretty freaking awesome. But like I said, Volo seems to be taking it in stride, which is what I thought was funny. It's his weird, goofy-ass, dorky friends who don't really seem to take that all that seriously, and just continue to be your stereotypical, run-of-the-mill anime bullies. Fuck these guys. I absolutely hate them, and I hope we never see them again for the rest of the series, as they're a complete and total waste of time. What is cool, though, is that we are finally getting closer to our goal. We are now at that giant freaking white tower, which means we're this much closer to maybe being reunited with Alice, maybe seeing what happened to her, maybe some new characters, maybe a real arc is actually going to begin. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. The good thing is they're still moving really quick through all of this, getting to see this huge journey that they've gone on. If this were any other anime series, this could have already been 26 episodes right here, so I'm glad that they're actually sort of cutting right through this stuff, and it looks like things are finally going to pick up from here. We're gonna have to find out. That being said, it sounds like I'm actually dogging this episode. It's not that bad at all. In fact, it was still very entertaining for what it was, and it was great to see a little bit more of this Swordcraft Academy and seeing it in action. I wish we could have spent more time with some of these characters, like that one big dude who appears multiple times. I can't really tell you anything about him, except that he's a big dude, he wears green, and that's all there is to him. Maybe he'll be important later, maybe not, I don't know! Let's move forward in the story. This episode right here, though, was still incredibly entertaining and a nice push forward to the next major arc of the series. Let's give this one a 4 out of 5. That's right, that's my thoughts. I want to hear from you, though. If any of you did watch the episode, tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below and what you hope to see from the rest of Sword Art Online Alicization. Thank you guys for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down, baby.